Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here. Time for another Patreon-sponsored Blind Reaction. And this one comes to you courtesy of Jugio, who has requested that I react to another death battle. This time it's Optimus Prime versus Gundam. So, yeah. This could be interesting. Two characters that I'm not particularly well versed in. Optimus Prime, I was just never all that into Transformers. I never watched any of the shows growing up. I had a couple of the toys. I don't think I had an Optimus Prime, but I had a couple of Transformers toys, but I just never got into the show. Never really cared about it. I have seen the movies, the first three of them at least, the Shia LaBeouf ones, which I watched specifically to make fun of them. I saw they had riff tracks available, and I watched them that way, because I thought it would be funny. And it was. I mean, honestly, the movies were still pretty unbearable, even with the riff tracks. And I didn't really ever rewatch them. Which I rewatched the Twilight ones. The Twilight riff tracks, that's like... somehow that's not as bad to me. But the Transformers ones, just... No, I could barely handle it. Yeah, obviously, watching that, I didn't really get a very good grasp on the Transformers lore, I would say. I mean, some of it will probably be vaguely familiar to me, but I'm not versed on it at all. And for Gundam, I'm not really that into it either. I mean, I've seen some of it. Obviously, I think most people my age got into it through Gundam Wing. But I remember that show somewhat. I saw, like, some stuff here and there. I never really got into it. I never really, I don't know, it never really pulled me in. And I never really bothered to figure out what was going on in it. I did watch the original Mobile Suit Gundam when that got aired on Toonami for a little while. But eventually I got bored of it. Because it was a kind of old show, a bit outdated. So I didn't really follow it that long. The first one that I really followed all the way through and enjoyed was 08th MS Team, which I do have fond memories of, and I think was a pretty good show. I mean, I haven't revisited it since that was on TV either, but at the time, I remember really liking that. And the only other one I've seen, and the one I guess I've seen the most recently, is Gundam 00, which came out just after Code Geass finished, and I had really, really loved Code Geass, and here was this other show, this Gundam show, which was another mech show from Sunrise with designs by the same character designer, Clamp, so I felt that was the perfect time and the perfect Gundam show to try Gundam again with, and it was fine, it was good. I mean, it wasn't Code Geass, but it was enjoyable enough. But as for, I mean, Gundam really isn't a character. It's like a type of thing. Yeah, I mean, there are different Gundams. So I don't really know. I mean, Optimus Prime is a character, so I'm not really sure what we're talking here and how we're going to define this. So that could be interesting, I assume. Are we going by the original Mobile Suit Gundam? Or, yeah. This one might be interesting. I don't really know if I can make any kind of prediction. I would think probably Optimus Prime is going to be more powerful than the Gundam, but I have no idea. That's just a hunch. I have nothing factual to base that on. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Here we go.
Check out 23andMe, a DNA
of
testing
course.
service that can offer insight into your ancestry, health, wellness, and traits. The 23andMe Health and Ancestry Service includes reports on how your DNA can influence your weight, sleep quality, sense of taste, and more. It's super easy to do. You just spit into the tube and mail it back to their lab to be analyzed. I learned a lot about my family tree, and I'm probably a little lactose intolerant. Order your 23andMe Health and Ancestry Service Kit.
Yeah, I wonder about his family tree.
/death battle. That's the number 23 and me.com/death battle.
It's probably pretty interesting. Screw attack. Death battle.
Across this vast world of different nations with different people, it is the clash of opinions which truly divides us. However, there is one universal truth, which absolutely everyone
Giant robots.
can agree on.
Giant robots are freaking awesome!
Yes.
Like Optimus Prime, the original G1 Transformer.
And the RX-78-2, the original Mobile Suit Gundam.
There we go.
These
Clarifying.
aren't just robots, they're the old school classics, the first of their kind, and we're in for a robo battle.
Glad that we're doing that
Versus
immediately
Wiz.
in
Well,
the
Optimus was
first
originally
minute.
Japanese toy.
He's Wiz and I'm
Wow.
Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Millions of years ago, on a distant planet called Cybertron, a great
Starting with
unrest grew between
Transformers?
two factions of robotic beings, the Decepticons and the Autobots. With little warning, they found themselves entangled in civil war.
Led by that douchebag Megatron, the Decepticons started gunning down any bot they pleased for basically no reason, including some guy named Orion Pax, which will be important later.
Huh?
Rest in peace, Robro.
What Megatron didn't know was that this seemingly random encounter would end up reshaping the universe.
Thanks to a robot Gandalf, Orion Pax was rebuilt into something bigger, stronger, and way more recognizable.
The newest commander of the Autobots had risen, Optimus Prime.
The Autobots will never sacrifice freedom.
Optimus is a powerful warrior with tons of awesome robo powers.
As a transformer, he can scan nearby objects and morph his body to resemble one, becoming a robot in disguise.
You can become a truck.
His favorite is a classic 1979 Kenworth K100 tractor. An oldie but a goodie which supports 500 horsepower.
The most useful of all
and over
powers.
80 miles per
Becoming
hour.
a truck.
He even gets a trailer, which, when he doesn't need it, mysteriously disappears into thin air. No, really, where the hell does that thing go? I need to know.
More importantly, the life force of every Transformer resides in their spark, sort of like a soul. And Optimus is no different, except that his spark gives him a few unique abilities.
Yeah, his spark's pretty rare. Compared to other robo people, it gives him increased strength, speed, and durability. He can shoot laser beams from his hands, fly with either a jetpack or his feet boosters, and
Cool.
move his limbs around while they're detached
Oh.
like some sort of ghost robot Ray-Ban.
Okay.
Ooh!
Optimus is referred to as a 0.1%er. That is
Oh.
how rare a being of his caliber is.
Is that what all those people on Wall Street were protesting?
Yes,
Then,
yes, they
many
were
of
all
Optimus's
all
abilities
upset
are
about
further
Optimus
enhanced
Prime.
Thanks to his possession of one of the most powerful artifacts in Cybertron's history. The Matrix of Leadership.
Down with Optimus
yeah,
Prime.
you know, it's nothing much. It's just a piece of robot god.
The Matrix
Okay.
is a conduit for the power of Primus, the creator of the Transformer race. With this, Optimus can heal some of his most grievous wounds.
What? Not all the time. Like, you know, when he died.
Oh,
Use the power of the Matrix to light
power of the Matrix.
darkest hour.
Well, he has an impressive arsenal to hopefully keep that particular problem from coming up again.
Yeah, never again. Regardless, he wields the Ion Blaster, a giant death cannon which Prime one-hands like a boss. This big old rifle fires bolts of energy strong enough to take down most Decepticons, and can even be fired into space from ground level. Even
Well, that's
better,
cool.
It never seems to run out of ammo. Ah, one can only dream.
Wow.
Optimus Prime also carries numerous weapons composed of Energon, a raw energy force used by Transformers to power their technology and, well, themselves.
He's got a glowy Energon axe and Energon swords, perfect for slicing up robots of all sizes. And I guess they'd probably work pretty good on people, too.
Fighting fire with
Probably.
fire, Optimus Prime led the fight against the Decepticons for several millennia. Eventually, the war even found its way to our own Earth.
But we've got nothing to worry about with Optimus protecting the planet. He's tanked blasts that would tear other bots apart, like when this mega refinery exploded. It could be seen from outer space. He's punched the ground so hard, the trees around him freaking exploded.
Child's play, Boomstick. He's strong enough to tip this large oil tanker, which, when compared to the real-life Sea-Wise giant, must weigh over 700,000 tons.
He's tossed a satellite into orbit and punched hard enough to crack 6
Yeah.
chest plate.
Who boasted that his armor was
Seems
drawn from
pretty
the
impressive.
subatomic matter of a collapsed star. Just to let you know, such a star would have a density of over 300 billion tons per cubic inch. While great density doesn't necessarily beget great toughness, this still means Six-Shot's armor was 500 billion times more dense than osmium, the most dense natural material on Earth.
you're the most dense natural material on Earth.
Wow.
And our robo-commander wrecked it. He's fast enough to catch up to this Decepticon space shuttle in just 23 seconds.
Given the size of the Earth here and the angle of ascent, we can determine he's moving around 125,000 miles per hour. He's also a talented leader, capable of commanding 1,000 battles at the same time via the Omniglobe.
Like Skynet, but in a giant disco ball. He's used that crazy strength of his to punch through Megatron, who once tanked an explosion big enough to knock Cybertron out of orbit. And thanks to the weird robo-magic of the Matrix, he's even defeated Unicorn,
Unicron.
who's basically a giant robot Satan who eats planets. This guy is unstoppable.
Not necessarily. Optimus is certainly powerful,
Giant
but after
robot
all is said and
Satan that
done,
eats
he
planets.
has one major weakness.
To violate that law would destroy our honor.
He's just too nice.
Yeah, he's kinda all about the whole honor and fair fighting thing, which kinda screwed him over more than once, and even got
That's how that
killed
usually goes.
multiple times. Plus, he killed himself once just because he accidentally broke the rules in a frickin' game. Damn.
But when his back is to the wall and all hell's breaking loose, he'll fight to the end, riding the eye of the storm.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
And now
In the
Gundam.
year 2179, humanity has embraced the stars.
Well, mostly.
Right. After a somewhat united humanity expanded across the solar system, the ideologies between those on Earth and those in space began to drift apart. A new Space-noid republic, the Principality of Zeon, arose to challenge the Earth Federation.
Space-noid? That like the Domino's pizza mascot
I-
but in space?
Yeah.
Nazis.
Oh, well, I guess it's no surprise that they started a war by gassing a populated space colony and dropping the whole thing on the planet. Man, that's messed up. But that's just how it started. For the real star of the show, some smart guys put their heads together and came up with the coolest thing they could think of. Giant fighting robots!
These were mobile suits, and one of Earth's nuttier engineers had developed a suit which would put all others
This
to
isn't
shame.
the original Gundam,
This
though.
was
This
the
is some
RX-78
kind of
II,
remake?
otherwise known as the Gundam.
There we go. That looks more like it.
There have been lots of mobile suits named Gundam, but this was the original granddaddy of them all.
This experimental mobile suit was hidden on a remote colony, but before its maiden voyage with the equally classified white base could begin, it was caught in a surprise Zeon attack.
With just 2 Zaku suits, the Space Nazis wiped out almost all of the
Space
White
Nazis.
Base's military crew. The only people left to save these secret projects were civilians, who had no idea these things even existed.
Among those who rose up was a young boy named Amuro Ray. Brilliant, albeit standoffish, Amuro was actually the son of the Gundam's chief engineer, and had already stumbled upon the mech's coded blueprints.
So he grabbed the owner's manual, jumped in the Gundam, and flew into the fight. Damn, not too shabby for going off just the manual.
Amuro quickly adapted to its complex controls thanks to its learning computer system, designed so the Gundam itself can learn its pilot's limitations and compensate.
Its body is made of a super durable Luna titanium alloy called Gundarium.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Another fictional metal that's way better than anything in real life.
For weapons, it's got twin 60mm Vulcan guns for ears. It's got a shield that can block shots strong enough to take down warships, and a gravity hammer, a supersized flail that's rocket propelled. Whoever came up with that is my goddamn hero. Same with the guy who built the ultra-destructive beam rifle.
That would be the ingenious Dr. Minovsky. Thanks to him, the beam rifle is a marvelous feat of weapons engineering. Minovsky had developed a way to miniaturize the enormous megaparticle cannons found on warships without losing any power.
The result is a Gundam-sized rifle that can take down entire fleets of ships all on its own. It's like having a pistol with all the power of 1,000.
Pretty cool.
A single shot could easily tear through a 13,000-ton Musai-class warship. Given
Wow.
the official stats of this ship, to tear it asunder like so would require a strike worth nearly 9,000 tons of TNT.
Sure, the beam rifle only has 16 shots, but who really cares when you just need one?
Last but not least, the Gundam carries 2 retractable beam
Well, the
sabers.
16 shots thing is
Can't
important
have
when
space battles without
Optimus's
royalty-free lightsabers.
gun has
But
Infinite
all these
ammo.
amazing weapons would be useless without an exceptional pilot. Despite still technically being a civilian, Amuro became the main pilot for the Gundam. Turns out, his skill was mostly thanks to his previously unknown abilities. Amuro was a new type.
Like, Pokemon?
See, apparently humankind was never meant to live under gravity's pull. In space, without it literally weighing down their souls, some humans developed psychic powers.
That is the dumbest backstory. Why someone gets powers, and we've heard a lot of them, Wiz. So what, he can like read minds or something?
Sort of. These powers and their capabilities have little definition, often differing between different people. Most new types can instantly understand each other upon contact, even drawing kinship between sworn enemies. Amuro's abilities in particular grant him something akin to precognition. He can predict exactly what will happen on the battlefield and
This
where
could
his
be
enemies
useful.
will be, and can capitalize on it if he reacts fast enough.
How could he possibly predict I'd attack from the other side?
He shot down targets too fast for the eye to see, and navigated his friends through a collapsing fortress with no casualties. By the end of the war, his own reflexes were pushing the limits of the Gundam itself.
A magnetic coating was added to the Gundam to compensate, reducing the suit's friction and increasing its speed by 27%.
Over 14 years of military service, Amuro became a legendary pilot. He even learned how to use these super fast funnel guns with his Psycho powers.
Speaking of speed, the Gundam is comparable to the red Zaku piloted by Amuro's rival Char, which is 3 times faster than the standard green model.
During the first large-scale battle with mobile suits, a Zaku flew through the battlefield in 7 seconds.
By comparing the 1,072-foot-long Magellan-class starships in the distance, we can tell the Zaku flew over 7 miles. This puts the standard Zaku's top speed just under Mach 5. When tripled to compare to Char, this means the Gundam can move at least 11,000 miles per hour, 15 times the speed of sound. Highballing it with Amuro's new type powers and magnetic coating, it's possible the Gundam can move as fast as Mach 25. Though
Wow.
anything over that would put it dangerously close to re-entry speeds, which its chassis cannot survive on its own.
The Gundam is strong enough to lift and throw this goofy mobile suit, and tough enough to power through a magnetic field that's 7,200 degrees Fahrenheit. It survived plenty of really big explosions, including a detonating asteroid and a nuclear blast which wrecked Amuro's home colony. I bet it could wipe out the space Nazis all on its own.
It really did. Amuro and his Gundam were instrumental to the war effort. It doesn't matter how much the Gundam was burned. It would always stand up, dispel the fear, and fly.
Okay. I don't really know. I mean, I still think Optimus probably has the advantage, but
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
guess we'll see.
First, let me transform your eating habits.
All
By
right.
now, you've probably heard of
Our
Blue
other
Apron,
sponsor?
the leading meal kit delivery service in the U.S.
But did you know about all the different kinds of delicious foods you can make? Like the honey chipotle
Always the
glazed
same two
chicken,
sponsors.
poblano, and lime rice.
There's plenty to choose from, since they offer 12 new recipes each week. All you have to do is choose the 2, 3, or 4 that sound best to you, and they deliver it right to your door.
Plus, it's super simple to cook. It's got easy-to-follow instructions and perfectly proportioned ingredients. They're non-GMO, and the meat has no added hormones. My favorite part is feeling like a master chef, making creative and delicious meals with my own hands. You guys really need to try it out.
It's pretty nice coming home knowing I'll have a delicious meal I can whip up with ease.
So check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free at blueapron.com/battle. That's blueapron.com/battle to get your first 3 meals free. But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Here we go. Giant robot fight.
Amuro, come in. Where are you?
I'm checking something out,
Oh.
Sayla. It's more than meets the eye.
Get your butt back to Whiteface. If there's trouble, we can't send backup.
More than meets the eye.
Let's roll.
I like that we had that bit of 2D animation for Amuro.
I told you.
There you are.
Like the music. No.
Vile Decepticon, I have been in battle for countless eons.
No. I like the truck. Whenever he becomes the truck, that's the best thing. Oh. Oh.
Not today.
Yeah. Well,
I hate gravity.
oh. Ooh. Good dodge. Oh wow.
Stop that. I'm just bad.
I must stand, so you shall fall.
Oh. Well! That's gonna do it. Yeah. I got a feeling. I mean... Optimus Prime just seems a little bit more OP.
He's got the touch! He's got the power!
The Gundam was an impressive machine, and Amuro was a skilled pilot, but Optimus's millions of years of battle experience completely overshadowed Amuro's 14. Also, we already know that Optimus was over 6 times faster and 9,000 times stronger.
Holy hell! Who knew Optimus?
Then why was this even a...
But the Gundam had plenty of
Why was this
power
even a
to
contest?
With Amuro's super future sense powers, he could keep up with Optimus's speed. And with the Gundam's firepower, who cares how much it could lift?
Unfortunately, the Gundam's limited ammunition meant this couldn't last.
Yeah,
And even then,
yeah.
Optimus could certainly survive a shot from the beam rifle.
Remember that refinery explosion Optimus survived? The one you could see from outer space?
This blast left an enormous gash on the planet Cybertron. To measure the power of this explosion, we needed to compare it to the curve of the planet. Now, Cybertron's size is pretty inconsistent throughout G1 Transformers history, but even when using the alternating sizes between the cartoon and the comics, the blast is far more destructive than the beam rifle in both cases.
And Optimus just walked right out of that bitch. And this isn't some weird outlier just out of the comics either. In the cartoon, Megatron survived a blast that pushed Cybertron out of orbit. And he's pretty comparable to Optimus.
To
Yeah?
be fair, the Gundam boasted some impressive durability feats too.
Like when Amuro accidentally blew up a Zaku's nuclear reactor right in his own face. Hey, give him a break. It was his first time.
This
Wow.
explosion created a hole in the space colony which sucked out Amuro's father.
Whoops. On the bright side, he's gonna save some money on Father's Day gifts, right?
And with his heightened
How?
memory, we deduced the scope of the explosion.
It's over 150,000 kilotons of TNT. That's 10,000 times more powerful than the bomb that dropped on Hiroshima, but still nowhere close to the refinery explosion Optimus survived.
Also, the Gundam couldn't dodge Optimus's ion blaster forever. It was fast enough to strike targets in orbit from ground level. That
Yeah.
puts its laser speed over 3 million miles per hour.
Even when he knew it was coming, Amuro couldn't react quick enough to dodge or block anything that fast. And even then, Optimus's time in the Omni-Globe proves he can think way faster than Amuro.
And just to blow your mind even more, in order to obliterate Unicron with the Matrix, the energy output must have equaled more than 40 Yoda tons of TNT.
Yoda
Like
tons.
the Star Wars guy. And you know what they say, size matters not, especially when Optimus has defeated opponents as big as Devastator.
The Gundam was a powerful
We saw
mobile
that
suit with
earlier
some astonishing
in
firepower,
some game.
but was ultimately outmatched by the Autobot's strength, speed, durability, and experience.
I'd say Optimus was primed for this fight.
The
Wow.
winner is Optimus Prime.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see the exclusive commentary on this episode, just click that little box over there. And if you want the battle music for yourself, click the link down below and you can get it off of iTunes. See you in the next one.
Well, there we go. Oh, live action death battle? That's different. Nightwing versus. Well, there we go. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Good death battle. But definitely a one-sided one. I mean, they did a good job of kind of hiding that fact a little bit. At least if you're not paying super... Well, I was paying attention, but I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the numbers as much. Because when you get to like really big numbers, it's harder to keep in mind how to compare them. So I was just hearing really big numbers, and that was all I was aware of. But yeah, apparently this one wasn't that close. And that's pretty apparent from how it went. And I mean, I'm not that surprised. Optimus Prime always kind of seemed like an OP character to me. I mean, it's literally the initials. But yeah, it was a cool fight. And giant robots, of course it's going to be cool. And yeah, interesting to learn a little bit more about the characters. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.